Boom, recording on this computer.
Woohoo, all right.
Thanks
Hello.
for hanging out in my tech world. So glad to be here with you today. I can't wait to dive in. But as always, when I do my interviews on Thursday mornings, I like to give a quick digital marketing tip. And I had such a fun time yesterday. And thanks for joining the tutorial yesterday. We ran a tutorial with Beth Knaus on effective email marketing. And I just can't get out of my head just all the different things we had talked about. And even if I gave, 30 ideas, if anybody walked away with one idea, I'm super happy with that. But they also got the workbook. But you had asked me, I said, what would be the one question? I hadn't prepared a question this morning. And you were like, I think the question that you get the most, Rebecca, is what platform should I be on? There are just so many, overwhelming. And you mentioned you're getting involved with Instagram, and then there's Twitter and Facebook. A lot of people use Alignable and LinkedIn, and then there's Slack, and there's email, and there's website, and there's all that. So what is the one thing, right? So it can't be one thing. It has to be everything tied together. I always think of the website as the hub and everything else coming off of that, right? So, but if there were one spoke that I would say to make sure you were focusing on reinforcing, it would be that email marketing. Everything else can go away, right? And that's your list.
There's so much emphasis right now on social media that email is like, but I get too many emails, and
right. But if you're being resourceful, right, you've got to be like really clear on your mission. And I know that's what we're going to be talking about.
It's like the only thing that you really own.
Yes. And if you're clear on your mission and you're clear on the value that you're bringing to your audience, then that's where you want to be. And you know that you're not bothering them because you're always giving and giving. And once in a while to ask. So that is my quick answer to that question. And because I have another minute, I'm going to answer another question you asked today, which was the whole like going Facebook Live thing, right? And we had talked about, it's a little bit out of many people's comfort zone to just go and start talking to a computer. Here I am doing this. And I really admire the people who do that. I just noticed I have Facebook open for our live thing here. And I just noticed someone else went live and she's fabulous. And I'm like, not in my comfort zone. So that's why I started doing this where I could interview another person. So you guys, if you want to do this like with another person, like I'm doing with Rebecca today, I upgraded my Zoom to have the webinar access. Okay. And that webinar part of it allows us to show up together. I can invite as many panelists as I like, and we can show up live on Zoom together.
And what, just in terms of pricing, what
I wish I could remember.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. It wasn't much though. It was less than a couple $100 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is you can have any number of people, right?
Yes, you invite panelists and they can show up. It is real. It's a nice way to go live. There may be other ways. This is the way that I found.
I love it. Love it.
So now for the official bio for our really cool guest today. The universe brings you people when you need them. And our friend Devin Grilly had put up a challenge on her Coach on Fire group. And she just was like, you guys should get to know each other. Who wants to know somebody? And Rebecca raised her hand and I raised my hand and the universe put it together and we could talk for hours and hours. But here's Rebecca's bio. So this is really cool, you guys. Rebecca founded and ran venture-backed internet retail.com companies. In particular, you guys might be familiar with museumshop.com, where she partnered with 70 museums around the world to make gift shop products accessible to online shoppers. And you guys, this was before the iPhone and Facebook, imagine. Like the olden days. Since 2015, she's focused on business development, sales, and marketing for women-owned venture-backed startups. In particular, you guys might be familiar with Peach, Athleisure, and Pepper Lane. And then she founded InANutShell to cultivate, coach, and advise early-stage female founders. She's been on the board for several nonprofit and startups and volunteer organizations. Rebecca is passionate about helping more women of all ages start and run successful businesses. I am so excited that you are here today to talk about, I know part of your mission, right? Cultivating purpose with your business. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, we can get a little bit started. Why don't you start with telling me why even cultivate purpose? Why can't we just get started with something we like? Tell me about what is cultivating purpose and how it's important.
Well, I started this business hoping to just help women, business owners thrive. And I felt that was like, that term was a little too general. And what I realized in having more and more clients is that sometimes business owners get so stuck in the weeds of like the tactics and what they need to do every day, what we need to do to run our business, that we forget what motivated us in the first place. And it's really important that your business is in line with your mission and your purpose. Why? Because being in sync will like free you to operate with a lot more confidence and be stronger when things get tough, which they will. So it's a really good idea to revisit your purpose and make sure to nurture it, and then integrate that into your marketing message. So
now, how do you like really hone in, like, right? Like, how do you identify that purpose?
So what I mean by cultivating purpose is really focusing on contributing and not consuming. We are just such a consumer society. So what can you do to use your talents to contribute beyond your home and family and work towards a greater good and solve some big problems, not for like self-aggrandizement, but really to make an impact with your business. So one of the ways that I recommend, the most important way to identify your purpose is, and it's really related to what you're best at, what your superpower is, what you are naturally good at, what you care about deeply. And I have pulled this kind of methodology from a gazillion of people I admire, Brené Brown, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Dean DeGrazio, and women that I've met through Pepper Lane. I'll give a shout out to Nikki Bruno, who did a superpower consultation with me. And it's like, yes, that is exactly what we're talking about. So basically we sit down and you can ask yourself, what aspect of your business makes you kind of completely lose track of time? And I kind of joke about that because time management for me, I'm always losing track of time because I'm just so absorbed in what I'm doing.
Yes.
But for me, it's creating and connecting and discerning and clarifying and thinking outside of the box. So I just love figuring that stuff out. And then the next question is, what brings you the most joy in life? And for me, it's empowering and encouraging people, emboldening my clients, and celebrating truths or things that are really good. That brings me tremendous joy. The next question would be to ask yourself, if a good friend were to describe you, what would they say? So Nikki Bruno actually asked me this. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. So I just thought of one friend who I just like, we were just like, just one of those friends. It's like every time you see them, you just are yourself and you have a great time and there's no judgment and blah, blah, blah. And she would say that I am smart, kind, ambitious, and totally goofy. So I think. So, and then, so do this yourself. And then what really energizes you? And this is from Mel Robbins. And she talks about, it's not your passion, it's what brings you energy. And I don't know if you've ever been in jobs where you're like, it just saps your energy.
Yeah.
Like,
never again.
Not in line with who I'm meant to be, because I'm just sapped, So for me, and this gets into the whole kind of introvert extrovert thing. I'm 50-50. So I love being with people, but I need my quiet time.
Yes.
To regenerate. And so in my business, I love the one-on-ones and I love networking, but I can't do too much of that, that kind of thing. But for me, what energizes me is creating, appreciating, trying to be healthy, quiet time. So all those things. So so from that, you can kind of figure out your superpower. And that's where I got this concept of cultivating purpose for me. It's just like, that says it all. It's just like, this is everything that really energizes me and excites me. So once you've done that, then you need to kind of integrate that into your messaging. Maybe come up with a hashtag or something. So my hashtag is hashtag cultivate purpose. I also have your story in a nutshell.
Mm.
And the reason I called my company InANutShell Consulting is because I really wanted to help entrepreneurs hone their message in a nutshell.
I love it.
What is your story? Can you just kind of hone it, just really fine tune it? And then the other important part for me anyway, as an advisor and a champion to women business owners is, how are you going to make money? So it's all really good, but what's your business development plan? What's your sales plan? It's not just marketing. It's like, how does that tie into the strategy of making money? So
that's so important though too, because a lot of people, I've had this conversation a few times, and what happens is, because I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs, right, and some energy workers, they've been told a true energy healer, light worker, doesn't ask for money, or, you shouldn't be like, you should do this because you love doing it. But the reality is, we need to put food on our table. We need to pay for the roofs over our heads. And so you need to make money. And if you can do it within your purpose and your integrity, then all that much better.
Oh, I just didn't hear that last little part. Can you repeat that?
I know. I saw that you froze there for a second.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Basically yes, money is energy. And if you're putting out the energy in your work like that, you do deserve to get, energy and positivity back, but you have to feed your family, and you have to put yes.
And that's a huge, that when I say empowering women, that's what I mean, because I want to empower women to run business on their own terms. That's what I love about, that's what I loved about Peach and Pepper Lane. They were helping women start businesses on their own terms while they're running a family. And I am really interested, I don't have the answer yet, but I'm interested in being part of creating a new paradigm for women to monetize their skills and leverage their education, their intuition, their wisdom in a new way, because so many women undervalue themselves and they have so much to contribute. So that's my little podium.
Well, now that you've put that out there, the universe will bring it to you, I'm sure.
Oh, I know. Well, and so as I said before, a lot of times there's a disconnect between the marketing message and your purpose. So that's what I work with, one of many things I work with for women. And so if there is that disconnect, what you want to do is redefine your marketing message based on your superpower, why you are the best person to offer what you're offering, why you do what you do, what your distinctive offer is, and why it's so awesome, and why customers love working with you. That's where the testimonials come in that you talked about yesterday. And sometimes it's going to involve redefining who your client is. And actually, this goes back to something I learned from the Tony Robbins course that I took this summer, and Dean Dimazzi, I always get his name wrong, but you actually want to figure out how to attract the clients that are your ideal clients and repel the clients that really aren't your clients. I'll give you an example of that. So for me, there are a lot of different things that drive business owners, and some of them can be, I'm just trying to think some examples. I came up with a few. I'm just looking at my little list here.
Of course.
So some people can just be driven, by wanting to make money. And that's fine. That's just not my ideal client. So I'm looking for someone, who's not just looking for status, but they're looking for they have the motivation because they need to make money to live on.
Yes.
But they are driven by wanting to provide a service, an excellent service, and they want to have some meaning to what it is that they're offering, as opposed to, I just want to make money, and I want to build an empire, and I want to make $1 million. I don't care how I do it. So that's not my client. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's important for you to kind of figure out who your ideal client is, and then to refine your message around that ideal client. And the way to figure that out is if you look at your portfolio of clients you've had, say, in the past 6 months, which one of those clients do you just absolutely have a blast with? And, you just click, and, you get goosebumps. And so look at them and step back and look at them, and what is it about them? What are their demographics? What are their kinds of products and services? And then you want to kind of cultivate this kind of a person and adjust your message to it.
So how do you do that? How do you cultivate that person?
Well, you are, you have to be really intentional about your mission. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you really have to, to take a hard look at that. And I think that's difficult. That requires outside perspective.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
And that's why the next thing I recommend is to surround yourself with people who get it and you, but who perhaps are a couple steps ahead of you.
Yes. I love that saying, I never want to be the smartest person in the room.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Even if the smartest person kind of triggers you, it's okay. But isolation breeds self-doubt for entrepreneurs. And
yes,
your friends and family may not, they're not going to totally understand you. Even your best friend may not understand where it is that you're trying to go, because they know you as you are today. Mm-hmm. And they cannot quite see your potential the way you're envisioning it. You may not have articulated it yet. So that's what's so great about masterminds, and we'll get to that later. But you want to try to use those superpowers daily, like what energizes you and enjoys you, energizes you and you enjoy. But also, on the other hand, be self-disciplined and do the things that are going to move the revenue needle forward. So, do you make your projections, milestones, processes, accountability, all those good things, and then build in self-care daily. I'm not sure I answered your question. You asked how you find the customer.
Well, yeah, I think that
doing these things.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I think also too, though, it's in your messaging, as you're saying, and what I'm thinking, because I'm always thinking email, and I'm always thinking blogging or that part of it. And I always tell my clients, who is your person, right? So what you're saying is it's a mission-driven, your person is a mission-driven person. She's probably a woman. She's probably pretty smart. She's probably, already got these grand ideas, but she doesn't really know how to pull it all together. That's what I'm assuming, right? And so when you write, you're writing to, hey, Mary of such and such age with this, and you do these activities, and these are your things. I'm talking to you, right?
Yeah. I think part of your question too was how do you work with a client? How do I work with a client?
How do you work with a client?
Yeah. So when I first start working with a client, I take a lot of time to understand their story and how they got to where they are. What prompted you to start your business? It's so important not to skip that part, because that's where you figure out if there's a misalignment between what it is they want to do and what they're doing now. And then understand what's driving her today. And this driving force can change a lot in like 6 months, or you can find some information out about your market and you're like, ooh, wow, I really thought this is what I wanted to do, but this is what I really want to do. And then you look at who you're serving, and this goes to customer feedback. And really, I liked how in your email tutorial, you sent a feedback form right away. this is kind of a discipline, and a lot of women are afraid to get feedback from their clients, or they're just like on to the next thing and they don't do that. I mean, I'm guilty of that too. I just have to like block out time to get feedback. And that's where you're really going to get some information on where you are really, you are finding your ideal client, and then the clients that just didn't work out so well. Is there something you could tweak in your business, or was it perhaps not a good fit? Right. So once you identify that ideal client, then you refine your message.
Okay.
And then you figure out, okay, where are these people hanging out?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I like to look at, okay, what are the possible marketing channels, and where they hang out most, and what's the most efficient way to reach out to them?
Yes.
So, I mean,
and that changes, right? Everybody has a different industry, and so it changes.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not online. It's
right.
In person at, at a conference, at a trade show, or, there are many marketing channels. So it's not just social media. And then it's looking at how are you delivering your service or product, and how can you refine that? And it is an ongoing process. It's not a slam dunk. It takes time. There's going to be a lot of bumps, and that's where it's important to kind of bolster yourself with a support group and information, but not too much information. And also it's important to be very patient with yourself and kind to yourself, but not let yourself off the hook.
Right. Well, I know that you and I were talking about, you have a mastermind group starting up, and I have a new digital marketing course / with a mastermind aspect to it, starting up as well. And you and I have both identified, maybe because you were in one and I've been in a number, the strength. It's almost like having a superpower ring. To know that you've got this group that you can kind of lean into. You can lean back if you need support, and you can lean in if you need ideas. And just the fact that you say out loud, okay, by next week, I intend to have my list segmented and some targeted messages for whatever, right? If that's what you're talking about. Or by next week, I will have a blog, or I will have secured a podcast appearance. Whatever it is is going to take your business to the next level. Speak. It's one thing to have it on your to-do list. You might even have Post-its everywhere, but the matter of speaking it to someone.
So important.
And know that you're going to see that person again.
Uh-huh.
And to that point too, I was in my accountability group a couple of weeks ago, and I happened to say something like, I don't know, it was not my usual upbeat attitude.
Yeah.
And so here's what I got back from my group. That's not you. You've got this. We're here from you when you feel like that, plug into one of us and we will give you honest feedback.
Yeah. That's good.
So good.
Yeah. That's, and the emphasis. So the upcoming mastermind that I'm having is called a Women's Impact Mastermind.
Yeah.
And so it's really designed for business owners who are looking to get their revenue to the next level. Like they're kind of maybe perhaps stuck at one level and they really want to move the needle. And so it's a small group. It's 6 to 8 people, and it begins October 4th with an all-day kind of retreat. And then we'll have Zoom meetings for 6 weeks and have a celebration at the end. But it is the cool thing about the mastermind too, is that you've got this collective wisdom that you lift each other up. So if I just did all the talking myself, it would come from my perspective, but you've got the perspective of 8 other people that can add value in various areas, and it really works. And I'm curating it so that the participants are all at the same level, and that's why you need to apply, just to kind of make sure, so I can make sure that you're all at the same level. But anybody who's interested can just email me at Rebecca@InANutShellConsulting.com. And in my offer is that if you apply by August 30, you'll get 2 hours of additional consulting from me.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
that's in there. Yeah.
Awesome. And they can find that on your website
Yeah.
as well, that information.
Or on Instagram or
All the places, all the things, all of the places.
yeah.
So you were kind enough to actually offer to the people in Rise Above group or people listening to this group a free 30-minute discovery call with you.
Yep. Yep.
And they can schedule that right on your website as well.
It just goes to Calendly and yep.
You guys do that. You will not be sorry. Have a half hour with Rebecca and talk about your stuff. Find your mission, your purpose. Good stuff. Awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to add today, Rebecca?
Well, I would just some little takeaways. I have like some words that I just find very meaningful. And the first one is obviously purpose. And I encourage you to revisit and nourish your purpose and lean into your superpowers to serve your clients. The second is, if I could have one of those little mantra, like if you ever seen those little mantra bracelets?
Yes.
Certainty. And that really helps me on those days that I'm feeling not so certain. It's like, just focus on what you can do, one step at a time. Just do it. Just try. So,
yes.
Another is potential, and that goes back to what I was saying about people that knew you well don't necessarily what you were yesterday and even today doesn't define you. So you are in charge of where you can go in your potential and your purpose. And then the two others that often get missed in a lot of kind of woo-woo coaching are action. You know, you got to do those tasks.
Gotta.
The needle.
Yes. You can't just manifest success. You got to kind of work at it.
Yeah, and you can over-index on your superpower. Like I could be creative all day and get nothing done. Yeah. So, and results. So track your progress and your results. Ask for customer feedback. Continually tweak your offering and messaging. Be disciplined and do the stuff you need to do every day. And surround yourself by like-minded people. So I look forward to meeting you, and I really appreciate this opportunity to be on your Above the Noise.
I'm so glad that you're here.
I hope this is meaningful content.
It was great. It's such a good way. I loved every minute of it. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Susan. I can't wait to do more stuff with you.
Yes, I can't wait.
Okay.
Take care, hon. Bye.
We ended on time, right?
We did.
Woo! Slam dunk.